Welcome to Letterboxbookclub. Book Club. My name is Claire.
And I'm Kenzie.
Today we are talking about the second installment of Sarah J. Maas's Throne of Glass series, Crown of Midnight. Kenzie will read us the blurb to get re-immersed, and then we'll kick on from there.
Okay. Crowned by evil, bound by duty, divided by love. Celaena Sardothien, royal assassin, is the king of Adalin's deadliest weapon. She must win her freedom through his enemy's blood, but she cannot bear to kill for the crown. And every death Selena fakes, every lie she tells, puts those she loves at risk. Torn between her two protectors, a captain and a prince, and battling a dark force far greater than the king, Selena must decide what she will fight for. Fight for her liberty, her heart, or the fate of a king.
When I first read the blurb, I thought, how the hell is she going to manage faking these deaths without any sort of suspicion?
I thought that would be a big, more of a plot point that she would, get caught somehow because she just tells them to run away.
But it's very interesting as to how she, reveals how she does it, She goes into, I forget what they're called, but they're just dens where, dead bodies are, and she just takes people's parts as the,
Or the sick house or something.
Yeah, sick house. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. And yeah, she'd bring back a hand or a foot or something that looks vaguely similar to whatever target. I thought that was very gruesome, really cool, badass in a way, but also, yeah, I could never get away with faking anybody's death that long if I was the assassin. Hell no. And I'm just gonna put it out there because straight off the bat, if she had killed Archer,
oh my god,
everything that had transpired would not have happened.
I know, but I also think as well, she was blinded by him suddenly being interested in her, and as much as she was, disgusted by him, I think there was a part of her that secretly wanted him a lot. So.
Yeah, Archer, very sketchy guy. And it all came about with, another bunch of build-ups of misunderstandings, because it's Archer doesn't know if he could trust Selena. Selena doesn't know if she can trust Archer. Selena doesn't know if she can trust Nehemia. Everybody just doesn't trust each other, and then this whole shit show came about, and what happened at the end is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's insane. Well, now that we're already onto him, Archer is a new character into the series, introduced. What are your initial thoughts of him?
I knew he was sus. I was just like, I don't like you. You're sus. Sorry, but yeah, also introduced in this book, and also spoiler, killed off in this book as well. I'm I wonder if he could have been a different character. Was there really a need to introduce a whole new character, or I guess it was part of world building as well to then further the Selena's past in Rifthold.
Yeah, and he does offer up some lore drops about what Selena was like back when she was with Aberin and all that, and how she managed
Arabin.
And how she managed her life. He really gave off creepy groomer vibes. Just the way he talked to her.
Yeah.
Was he a little bit older, or is he way much older?
I think he was a couple of years older. But not only does he give off creepy groomer vibes, but I think he was creepy groomed.
Yeah, because he was a courtesan.
Yes, I think it comes with the territory.
Yeah, it comes with the training, unfortunately. We also meet another new little interesting character, except it's not really that interesting, but Roland, which is Dorian's cousin. Initial thoughts?
Who's never mentioned again.
Yeah. Yeah, he just disappeared.
Absolute sleazebag. I thought he would play a more key part because he is another Havillard. I thought, he might try and run for the crown or something.
Yeah.
Or be involved that way. But no, he's just a slimy douchebag.
He just managed to crawl into the King's and Parrington's little posse. I didn't really know about how his involvement was going to be until it was mentioned that he kept getting headaches, and then it just reminded me of Caltane, and I'm like, oh no.
But then, yeah, he kept getting headaches, but then as a plot device, he's never brought up again. You don't hear about him, I'm pretty sure, after this book. Maybe a little bit in the next book.
Yeah, I'm just going to say it. I think in Air of Fire, he gets sent off to a place, and then, that place, shit goes down, and then it's just never seen again.
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately, Roland turns out to be insignificant. He has, not fun, but fun to read little banter between him and Chaol and Dorian. Nice, interesting to see how Dorian's like other relationships with his family members, because they're cousins, I believe.
Yes, but we all know how cousins act in this one.
And we're introduced to another like new character, which would have been very, very useful in the first book, but only seems to have just come up in the second. Is a cool enchanted talking door handle called Mort.
Yeah.
What do you think of Mort?
Very convenient. A great way to exposition dump. Would have been helpful in the first book. But again, another character who's introduced who kind of doesn't go beyond his book.
Because, yeah, first book, it was all about riddles. Second book, it's still all about riddles, except it's a lot of back and forth between Selena and Mort is like, you could tell me. And he's like, no, I don't want to.
And also, like, Selena just being, like, a teenager. And I'm like, just stop being an asshole to the magical creature. Like...
all the riddles and everything, I just got so confused a little bit. The word keys and what they all meant. Not that I tried to figure it out, but, like, I don't know, Sarah J. Maas really loves her riddles.
Yeah.
We saw the downfall of Selena and Dorian's relationship, unfortunately. It's a shame that they were they kept the distance away from each other, but still had a bit of respect.
I think she made a mature decision, but then he acts like a little brat about it.
Yeah, he's not used to being told no, or...
Yeah, she's like, I can't be the king's champion and be in love with his son at the same time.
Because at the end of the day, all she wants to do is be free, and she doesn't want to compromise herself. She just wants to serve her years in peace. But while one relationship dies, another one blossoms. So she starts hanging out with Chaol a bit more, developing a much more intimate relationship.
Once again, Sarah J. Maas, we never trust the first love interest.
I kind of knew it was going to happen. This is going to sound really mean, but she's kind of being passed around almost, like with Dorian and now with Chaol.
Yeah.
Again, her sights are set on her freedom. Would she want to compromise that? But then again, being a young adult, she's entitled to have some fun.
I think as well, a good chunk of their relationship is definitely built on trauma bonding.
Yes, because they had a very big talk about each other. Except it was more Selena big talk, and then Chaol's like trying to compare it to a situation that just falls flat. Selena, opens up and talks about Sam, her first love, and how he died. And all that jazz. And then Chaol was like, I got cheated on once.
Yeah, I got cheated on once. And Selena's like, well, the love of my life got killed and tortured.
But with Chaol, it's also like, the chick cheated on me with Roland. That's why they got beef. But yeah, so is it really trauma bonding if it was really severely one-sided?
Yeah.
Not that suffering's a contest, but like, yeah, if anything, Selena, her story's a little bit more traumatic. But no, it was nice, because we get, in the first book, you hear about like Sam vaguely, it is implied of a vague lover, and it was nice to know a little bit more about that situation.
Get a bit of her backstory as well.
Yeah, for sure. And then ultimately, Selena loses her virginity to Chaol, which is good for her.
Good for her.
What else do you say?
Taking control of her body, what she wants. But like, I feel like it was brushed over. Like, not, like, I don't want losing virginity to be a big thing, but the way they spoke about it, like, I think she just mentioned, like, oh, it was good for my first time or whatever. And he said, what? And then I'm pretty sure Selena says, oh, nothing. And then...
okay.
They don't ever talk about...
Now that I think about it, but did they really mean first time as in, like, they're just first time together? Or...
Yeah, because I don't think she ever had sex with Sam.
Because I know sometimes in books they don't really like to say, I don't think, like, virginity or loss of virginity, that type of stuff. So I just assumed it would be, like, two singular people together, haven't done it together before. So but that's what I thought.
No, I think it was her actual virginity.
Cool. Again, good on her. She's entitled to have a bit of fun. Do you see this relationship lasting? I suppose we've already read the book. That was a stupid question.
No. I was rooting for them. I liked them. Throughout this, like, while this is all going on as well, and like all the Archer Finn stuff, we learn about like a rebellion that is forming in Rifthold, because there is a lost princess who is the heir of Terrasen, and her name is Aelin, and everyone thought she was dead, but apparently she's not dead. In a matter of Selena and Chaol getting together, I think like at the end of the chapter he gets kidnapped. I think, they come together, it's all nice and sweet, there's a slow build, but then it's so swiftly taken away from us.
Yeah, for sure. Were you worried about Chaol getting kidnapped?
Yeah, I thought he was going to die.
Legit? Like, you think she would have done that? Sarah J. Maas would have done that?
I don't know. I thought because like it's her first series,
Yeah.
but then I know how she's too afraid to. But you haven't finished the series. Yeah, she's totally afraid of killing off main characters, and she would never do that.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for the reassurance. But yeah, nah. And that whole kidnapping situation, it was explained by Archer and like Selena, and everyone figures everything out. Yeah, it was just like a big cluster misunderstanding is all it was.
Again, this is leading up to, spoiler alert, Nehemia getting killed. And I thought, because it just mentioned, like, to Kate, like the king mentioned to Chaol or whatever, that there was a threat on her life, on Nehemia's life.
Yes.
And then, like, the king was like, oh, like, keep Selena away, like, from the castle or whatever. I didn't think that that meant that Chaol had figured out that she was going to be killed.
No.
I just thought that he thought that, yeah, there was going to be, because the way it's written is that he had figured out, oh shit, they're gonna kill her.
I thought Chaol would have had no clue. I thought he was just like, all right, I'll up the guards. Like, I didn't think.
Just the way it's written when, like, Selena finds out, like, it sounds like Chaol knew.
Oh, yeah. I get it. Yeah. And that's another misunderstanding. Because all Chaol really knew is like, oh, yep, here's a threat to this princess. Up the guards. And he's like, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And that's all he knew. He knew nothing else.
Yeah,
but then Archer tried to play on the fact that he's the king's guard and he's close to the king. Well, relatively close to the thing that
he should know and blah, blah, blah.
And then that's why Selena gets mad and then beats the living shit out of him, which was girl boss to the extreme.
Yeah. And says that they will always be enemies.
Yeah, oof, that's harsh. After their sprouting relationship.
I know, all that love. Talk about love bomb.
But there were some parallels kind of early on that I kind of recognized. Like in the first book, wasn't it Dorian dancing with Selena or something? And then in this book, while they're on watch, Chaol and Selena were dancing, kind of not paying attention, and then, Dorian's looking onwards. I just thought, oh, there's still that bit of love triangle-y jealousy towards this entire situation. But yeah, it's another moment that I remembered.
Yeah, I don't understand, like, how, because Selena was like, yeah, I can't be with Dorian because you're the king's son, but I can be with Chaol even though he's captain of the guard, like...
kind of a bit hypocritical.
Is that not nearly the same situation? Like, they're both close to the king.
Yeah, they both have, destined loyalties to the king. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, now that I think about it, that's a bit weird. But then again, maybe she just wants her fun. She just wants her 4 years work of service and then freedom. I think she's going to do whatever it takes to just be free.
Yeah.
While all this is going on, like, everyone, even Nehemia, Chaol, I think even Dorian, they all act surprised that Selena is
killing people.
Yeah, well, they're under the impression she is, of course. But yeah, they're all surprised about it, and they all, like, they confront her about it, and... Ugh.
Yeah, they confront her about, like, how could you be the king's champion? Like, how can you do this? And she's like, you literally pulled me out of Indovia to win the competition and be the king's champion.
Yeah, any sort of interaction towards that really...
No, and then this is the thing, and then when they find out that she's not actually killing them, they get mad at her because they don't want her to get hurt. So, like, what do you want from this poor girl?
This girl just wants her freedom.
They're like, the king will kill you if he finds out, like...
Yeah, and, like, just Nehemia's all... Like, I liked Nehemia. Like, they have a nice relationship with Selena, but she's pulling the whole, you gotta, save these people, protect these people, why are you killing people? It's like very sanctimonious.
Yeah, Nehemia is pulling the, I don't know what this riddle means, I don't know anything about this, blah blah, and she turns out she's like leading the rebellion.
Yeah, leading from the inside.
Like, she knew that Selena was in Indovia, that she was a slave, like, you would think. And then once you find out that she's not killing anyone, like, you would think that, like, maybe I should tell her about this rebellion.
Yeah. See, it's just, again, a cluster mess of misunderstanding and people not wanting to trust each other for whatever reason. It was so frustrating to read.
Sorry, I can't remember at what point it comes into it because there's so many things that happen in such a short book. But what did you think about the carnival that comes to the castle, and we're introduced to Baba Yellowlegs, Baba, who is a witch? Mm-hmm. So it kind of brings more lore into the story.
It kind of expands on, other than it's just like, humans or like fae creatures. Why I say creatures? Creatures. other than like humans and fae and demons, like it's nice to have another supernatural element to it. So the witches is an interesting idea. I'm curious as to how they like play out in their future involvement. But Baba Yellow, like she was creepy. I don't like her. Selena was deathly afraid when she saw her and recognized the iron teeth and all that stuff. Like she froze up and then when she went and had a little consultation about Dorian and everything, it's like this chick, she has got some balls, because I swear to God, yeah, the first interaction she was like hiding behind somebody. She was that scared of Baba, but then she manages to confront her herself. Like, yeah, the whole carnival as a whole it was a fun idea. Short-lived, very short-lived, but it would have been like a fun thing for them all to have enjoyed. But yeah, what about you? What do you think of Baba? What do you think of the whole witch implementation into the series?
Yeah, I was interested to see where it was going to go and if the witches like really mean anything or if they still have power, even though like magic has been gone for 10 years, but like it's appeared that Baba still had some sort of powers because she could see, I don't think like the future, but she could see into people. So I was wondering about how that kind of worked around that magic being gone.
Yeah. How about, alright, now we have to talk about, I guess, Selena's encounter with Baba. She goes there to kind of consult about Dorian because Dorian's been confiding in her that he has magic.
He has magic and he can use his magic.
And he's trying to figure out how he got it, or how he inherited it, and how to use it, and all these sorts of questions. And then Selena, realizes that Baba could use sell this information to, political opponents and such. And so she has a tussle.
And she kills Baba.
And quite the tussle it was.
Oh yeah, for like...
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't know why, but it's a huge series. So there was a moment where I thought, damn, Selena could actually die. That fight was intense.
Yeah.
Finally, she was marked with like a bite or a scratch that has marked her as a witch killer.
A scar around her neck.
Interesting to see how that plays out into the future.
Yeah. So, skipping forward a little bit, Nehemia is killed. Sad. And then, so Selena goes down to the tomb because she's like figured out the riddles and stuff. But Archer is there, and Archer opens a portal where a creature steps out of, and Chaol and Dorian and Selena all fight it. But Fleetfoot, Selena's dog, chases the creature into the portal, and Chaol goes in, and then Selena follows to save them both. But she switches into her true fae form. So it turns out that Selena is fae, and this is when I knew.
This is when you knew?
This is when I knew who she is.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't click until it was like the last sentence of the last page. I was like, oh, that happened.
Oh, no. Because I was like, well, why would they just make her fae if they're like, oh, nah, just chill, like, this is just who she is.
This is like a legit human assassin.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, she's the lost princess.
Yeah. I wonder how it would have felt, like, for her, because, she's been hearing, even through Archer and, like, all the whispers, oh, this is in the name of Aelin. I wonder how, I don't know if it was ever revealed, like, even in her perspective, how she felt about that.
Yeah. And then also to hear people being like, no, she's alive and she's in Terrasen, like she's building her army or whatever. And she's like, I'm right here.
This is the cover. May as well keep it. Chaol also finds out that Dorian has magic.
Which is he's okay with. He's okay with Dorian having magic, but he doesn't like that Selena is fae. He's frightened, yeah.
Yeah. I think in the first book especially, Chaol always had this lingering feeling of this chick could turn on us at any moment. Like, his guard has always been that little bit up with Selena because he understands how dangerous she is, and now that he knows that she's fae, like, she is super deadly. She's OP. Against the humans, at least. Against the humans.
And then, I don't know if it's in this book or the next one, but it's relevant, and it's in a little, like, Dorian says to Chaol that, like, he can't pick and choose, like, what parts of her to love. Like, he can't just love the human side of her, he has to love the fae side of her as well.
I completely forgot. After, she lost her virginity to him and everything, he was already thinking about her being a wife. Like, hell no. Like, dude. Must have been that good.
Oh, and we find out as well, in her will, because she writes a will, and even after Nehemia has died, and, like, it's Chaol's fault, pretty much, Selena leaves everything to him.
Maybe it's because it's just there to, if he ever decides to kind of leave himself, he has somewhere to go.
Grow some balls.
Some money, grow some balls. Yeah. Look, again, it's just a cluster mess.
After everything is revealed, Chaol decides that Selena is no longer safe in Rifthold if she is Fae. Well, she is Fae, but yeah, because she's Fae. So he convinces the king to send her to Wendlin, which is like another continent, but where there's still magic and where the Fae reside, like most of the Fae reside. So, but I wonder, like, he says he's doing it like to keep her safe, but is it also a way to just get her away from him because he's now disgusted by her?
Look, when I initially read it, I'm like, oh, Chaol accidentally sent her to safety. Well done. That was an entirely good decision on his part, even though it was an accident. Yeah. Or he knew, yeah, there were Fae out there, but I think because there was this whole thing where there was a slight mention of her an aunt, Maeve, and yeah, apparently it ended up being like a bad idea to send her over there.
Yeah, bad idea. Worst idea. Chaol, you caused everything bad that ever happens to Aelin that ever happens to Selena.
Yeah, and even more riddles, because yeah, as she got onto the ship or whatever, she told him a riddle about who she really was, and then he obviously, last few pages, figure it out.
She tells him a date. Yeah, she tells him the date of her parents' death, and then he figures out that she is the lost princess Aelin, and he just sent her, like, to her home.
I just want to kind of rewind a second, just back to Dorian. Do you like the idea that this is where it's going for him having magic also?
I like the idea of it. I think it's a little bit overkill because, like, she has magic, she's Fae, and she's a lost princess. Like, it's a lot. And then also, it kind of ends up just being a non-issue. Like, he doesn't really use it to an extravagant amount. Like,
yeah, I mean, I guess because he only does that when he's overly kind of emotional or frustrated or scared. Any of those extreme type of emotions.
yeah.
I like that he calls them phantom hands. Curious to find out as to how Dorian and his magic, how it kind of entwined amongst his heritage. Because again, yeah, magic is seemingly supposed to be gone. Why is he allowed to have his phantom hands right now in the mortal world? Maybe it's kind of like the Baba situation.
His bloodline is and like his bloodline is kind of insignificant. Yeah, but I think I just realised why.
And just another moment that I just want to quickly skim over: Selena beating the shit out of Chaol.
Oh yeah, and leaving him scarred.
Yeah, I did think he was gonna die as well there.
Yeah.
And good old Dorian saved the day. I also thought Fleetfoot was gonna die. I need to learn to, when I read a moment, am I supposed to be reading that?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Is it backwards?
Wait. No, I need to get full screen. Ooh, that is a very interesting. Ooh.
For everyone,
he's 18. He's 18.
I'm writing notes to Claire, and she's reading them.
Okay.
So, like magic, some magic does come from because otherwise his bloodline is insignificant, and there shouldn't be any magic that runs through his veins.
But I feel like with just off topic because I'm just thinking about Baba's magic. Maybe she just knows a lot of things because she is immortal. Like witches are immortal, I think, as well.
Like it's a more like intuition thing.
So maybe she just knows a lot. I don't think she really used her power. Because yeah, she just knew a lot about the word keys and like.
But she knew who Selena was as well.
Maybe she does. Yeah, just have that like a sniff of power. The whole word key poems, riddles, and everything about what they are as objects and how they are used, I was a little bit confused by it. Sorry, dog's barking.
Yeah, and it continued to get confusing, and then
I thought we were going to see like a lot more of like the portal demon worlds or whatever.
Yeah, I guess it was just a way to kind of introduce that multiverse thing. Because we know that the multiverse in this universe exists, so I think it was just hinting at that. But again, like, I don't know, like the multiverse hint in this is not a big one. I know you're not up to it yet, so I won't spoil it. But it's not a big one, and it's more of like the portals are like worlds between worlds.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know. And then yeah, it's not really touched on.
Yeah, I just
hugely.
thought it would have been more of an impact to this book at least, but no, there was only like 2 encounters. Actually, no, one
Yeah.
with a creature and then one other portal at the end. But good on Chaol for being brave and fighting the creature.
Yeah.
For a man who was very kind of distressed about having to kill even Cain in relative self-defense, like
Even though you're the captain of the guard.
yeah, who's never been in a tussle in his entire life. But yeah, no, he saved Fleetfoot. I thought Fleetfoot was gonna die. What I was gonna say before was I get into a bad habit of reading, like finishing a page where something drastic has happened, and then I tell you, oh no, this is gonna happen. But then I just read a couple pages further and it all gets resolved. Like, that's what I need to learn to do. Because I'm like freaking out, no, Fleetfoot's gonna die. I was tearing up when the creature dragged her through the portal. I was like, oh no.
No.
I don't think Sarah J. Maas has the balls to kill an animal. How'd you feel about the whole revelation that Archer and Nehemia were in cahoots?
Oh, I just like so much could have been solved if Nehemia had just been truthful.
Yes, and more trusting towards Celaena as well. And her dying is... It's a frustrating little plot device that excels Selena's journey from here on out, I think. Like, this is what drives her. She's only known Nehemia for about a year. Maybe not even. And, she's gonna she swore an oath to protect Elwie. And, yeah, like, they all could have worked together if they had just communicated. Moral of the story.
Sorry, I've just seen something. Throne of Glass is being adapted.
Oh, yay.
By Hulu.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are they gonna do like a potential book a series? Book a series.
Yeah, book a series like
that makes sense. Yeah. But I wouldn't stretch out Crown of Midnight for season 2. Crown of Midnight for me would probably be like a 5-episode part max, I reckon. Oh, yeah. Maybe.
I mean, both.
It depends.
You could do book 1 and 2 in a series, in a season.
Probably.
Sorry.
Yeah, do it back to back because it pretty much picks up back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now that's interesting little tidbit. I'm very happy to have learnt that information. Did you realize? Because it's revealed Archer pretty much assassinates or orchestrates Nehemia's assassination
because he wanted Selena to like be the leader.
But I honestly thought when she went after Graves, and she thought he was the one that did it.
Yeah.
I thought, damn, she's quick. She's smart. She figures stuff out really easily. And I was very surprised that she had the goal. Actually, I shouldn't be surprised about what Selena does anymore. But yeah, has the goal to just, and then outright accuses one of the, I forget one of the Duke's names. Because he because he vouched for Graves as being his champion and all that.
Yeah.
And so he got the pin. Ultimately, it was a very smart plan. But wasn't necessary if everyone just trusted each other. I forget now, did Caltane have any significance in this book?
She was still in the dungeon and she got taken away by Parrington, but Selena gave her her cloak.
Oh yes, that's a nice gesture, I guess.
Yeah. I guess maybe that might come in handy.
Maybe. We'll see. Your concept of the word gate, the thing that pretty much destroys or opens up the entire portals and pretty much would destroy Irelia with a snap of a finger. How did you find trying to visualize that type of concept? I still struggle to kind of imagine what it could be.
Yeah, like I just imagine it's portals, and then I guess and then also because word marks still work and word marks are magic. So yeah, I just don't know that. Yeah, I want to know all the intricacies and rules around what magic works and what magic doesn't.
Yeah.
And then, like, as much as the word marks and word gates and word keys play a big part in, like, the plot of this book, they do, like, end up being...
Really? That's a bit disappointing to hear, but from what I'm up to, they're very, very important. Selena's little memorial for Nehemia and her sacred oath. What'd you think about that moment?
I loved that. That was cute. Good on Selena for someone who essentially betrayed your trust. Like, and you're still like, I'll still save you.
And, like, severely guilt-tripped into saving her people as well.
Yeah.
Because Nehemia threw it in her face about, oh, you don't really care about, slaves or rebels or whatever.
You're a coward,
You're a coward. It's like, she just wants her freedom. Let her serve her 4 years in peace. Leave her alone. But yeah, what I was going to say was, because she sings a song, and Chaol sneaks a listen, finds her and listens, and he says it sounded really, really bad. I just think because she wasn't in her fae form, that's why it sounded horrible. See, I had that thought, like, maybe it sounds bad because it's a fae song, and then I didn't make the connection until afterwards.
Like, very much like the egg in Goblet of Fire, where you need to put it beneath the water.
Yeah, it needs a special effect in order for it to have the right tone. But yeah. And just, there are moments in the book where I think Chaol specifically is trying to figure out Selena, or now he knows it's Aelin's family tree, and I'm so confused.
Oh, same. I'm like, what? I still, like, after finishing it, I'm still like, I don't...
The way they talk about it's like, oh, Selena / Aelin's great-great-aunt sister and all that type of stuff, and I'm like, oh no, I can barely handle my immediate family tree, let alone great-great. But I guess when you're fae and you're immortal, you have nothing but family tree to go off of.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Is there anyone, do you think we talked about Dorian enough? He's on a little journey. He kept his distance. He learned his magic. There is a moment where Selena goes into the tomb under like a little labyrinth and manages to, like, mess around with a creature down there, or is that in a different book?
That's in this book, and she's with Dorian, and it's in the library, but that was ages ago. That's when she finds out that Dorian has magic. Oh, and also she kills Archerfin. She guts him. Yeah.
Oh, in that moment...
As she should.
As she should, yes. In that moment where she was like... She almost switched sides to kind of entice Archer into another little allyship. I thought she was dead serious about letting him live again. The amount of chances she's given him, I'm like, she's actually going to do it. They're actually going to, sort out lead this rebellion together, but no, and then she just guts him. She had me for a second. She really did.
Yeah, she plays, like, secret plays that end up being a bigger, and it's like, I can't keep up.
Yeah, nah. See, the definition of this book is not a lot happens, but a lot happens.
Yeah.
A lot of small things. But yeah, I was just reminded myself, with Selena and Dorian in the library, messing around in the labyrinth, and she's just opening doors willy-nilly. It just reminded me of a comparison of some other character from another series that opens doors and releases a creature. I just thought that's just a funny little comparison. Yeah. Final thoughts, feelings, emotions, Kenzie, if there's nothing else to really kind of discuss?
It didn't go the way I was expecting it to go. I didn't expect her to be fae either. There was lots revealed for a short book, and it made me very hyped for the next book.
Same. I didn't know she was fae, it was a nice surprise. I didn't even for once thought that she was. Yeah, I had no inkling that she was Aelin at all, and this like ghostly name was thrown about a few times.
Yeah.
Dorian.
I thought it was just going to end up like, oh, the Lost Princess is dead or something.
Yeah, I thought they were, or maybe even just meet up with her, kind of like meet her. But as it turns out, no.
It is her.
It is her. It's been her all along. Dorian having magic is cool. Again, now that I've talked about it, the implication of how is his magic still able to be about while there is none.
Yeah, I think we can go more into that
later. Yeah. Chaol hitting a rough patch, a real rough patch. But yeah, I like to keep reiterating, like, because he never really explained that he didn't know she was going to die. He knew that there was a threat on her, but that doesn't necessarily mean he knew she was going to be killed. And Selena used that heavily against him, which I think is a little bit unfair.
Yeah.
But I guess she's seeing it as like another one of her friends being killed for a pointless rebellion or something like that. So she's really honing in on those emotions. Nehemia ultimately guilt-tripping Selena, like, and obviously her death being a plot device is very frustrating.
And just like, the introduction of Roland, insignificant. Introduction of Maud, insignificant. Like,
Maud would, his banter I found just a little bit over the top. And the only reason he's around in the second book is because he didn't know whether or not to trust her in the first book while she was scouring the tombs and talking to Elena and all that stuff. But
and like obviously if Elena is talking to her, then Elena trusts her.
Yeah. But oh well. Just excuses for banter and pointless like riddle back and forth. Like, oh, I know it, but I'm not going to tell you. You're going to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. It did take me. It was really start and stop with this book. Maybe it was because of my work schedule, but maybe it was because it was a little bit kind of slow. Again, not a lot happens, but a lot happens. When everything happens, it does happen. So
and everything happens at the end.
Yeah. So
as always.
Yeah, trying to push through was a bit of a challenge for me, but I finished it and I liked it. I think it sets up the series quite well with the all the world building and like the introduction of,
I think the series from this point takes like a really big turn.
Yeah, like this chick is the Lost Princess of Terrasin. Adalin has just conquered the entire continent. What is she going to do? She has to work her way to taking back her throne now. And
she has to find the other like word keys.
Word keys, exactly. She has to but she also has her mission from the king, quote unquote,
to kill the king and queen of Wendland.
Yeah, so whether or not she follows through with that is another thing. Yeah, there's quite a bit to go off of, and I wonder how Dorian is going to feel, or how he's going to cope without her around.
And Chaol, because Chaol still loves her.
Yeah, but then again, she sees him as an enemy now. Which is unfortunate and a little bit unfair now that we think about it. But I'm very looking forward to talking about Heir of Fire, because a little sneak peek, I think Heir of Fire is my favourite book of the series so far. So looking forward to talking about it. But yeah, if that's it, thanks for chatting.
Thanks for listening. Sorry if we make no sense sometimes.
It's hard to be concise. And then you realise you missed something and you have to go back and talk about it because it was just, something you want to say. But yeah, thanks for listening. Catch us next time when we talk about the third book, Heir of Fire. I'm really excited to talk about this
Where
one.
things really start to heat up, books get bigger.
The books get significantly thicker from here. Oh no. But yeah, thanks for listening. Check us out on Instagram if you wish.
It is letterbox_book_club.
Also curious to hear about moments that we may have forgotten to talk about if we wanted to. But alrighty, thanks for listening. Bye.
See you later.